Well, what is going on YouTube and Spotify? This is the Just BSN podcast, and I know, we are not uploading on a Friday because you put that blame on me. I had some scheduling proper problems. And I was like, you know what, Drew, let's record it on Saturday. He's like, yeah, that's fine, whatever. So, not a big deal. It's not going to be the every week thing. It's just a this week thing for us. But yeah, got a decent bit to talk about today, and it's not just Browns related because I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with the Guardians and their little stint right now, but they're currently on a 9-game winner. They're up 6-0 in the second game of the doubleheader against the Twins, and we are. If we win this game, I'm pretty sure it'll be a full game back out of the AL Central. We are on the Tigers' butt right now with a 3-game series coming starting on Tuesday at home. There's some big things coming for the Guardians right now. So, Andrew, how are we feeling, my friend? I know you go to these games. I know you're hyped about the Guardians.
Yeah.
I've been off of them for 2 months, and all of a sudden I'm getting sucked back in because that's what they do to us. But here we are. We got a chance.
You know, the one thing, and I know like you were out and done with the Guardians, but like for some reason I didn't show much of it, but I had this glimmer of hope that the Guardians were going to run and make some magic happen.
They're up 8-0 now, my bad.
Yeah, I was gonna correct you in the score here. I was gonna correct you in the score because Quan hit a 2-run single.
Of course.
So now it's the top of the ninth because or bottom of the ninth or whatever, bottom eighth. Sorry. As we see Daniel Schneeman strike out, but you know what? 8-0 as we decimated the Twins in the first game, 6-0. So back-to-back shutouts for the Guardians as of right now. And dude, I'm loving life right now. The fact that the Tigers are absolutely struggling. We swept them in Detroit, which was huge. Got a big win off of Tarek Skubal, which is already difficult as is for any team to go do. And then you come into Minnesota and you're gonna take, as of right now, 3 out of 3 or 3 out of 4 because you play the fourth one tomorrow on Sunday.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, man, if we can sweep the Twins and the Tigers get swept, we will be tied for the division going into Tuesday. Tied for the division. And at that point, whoever even just wins that series is basically winning that division.
Yeah.
That's what it comes to. If you sweep, the division's guaranteed. If you take 2 out of 3, all you got to do is win one more game and the other team lose one more, and bang, it's over. So that's the hope right now, is that we go out, win tomorrow, Detroit chokes it again, and then we come back to Cleveland on Tuesday with a big-time matchup. And it's all for the division at this point.
Yeah, and you got to think like the wild card race is more competitive right now than this. Like whoever doesn't make it is probably not going to make the wild card. Like that's a legit thing. And so you have to think about the implications of that series. I think the Tigers are feeling it right now. Like they are feeling the stress,
the pressure,
the anxiety, the pressure. Like they have blown this lead. I think they were up like, what was it, like 15 and a half games at one point on us?
It was the end of July. I think it was 25 days ago. It was 15 and a half games 25 days ago. It is currently 1.5 right now. If we win tonight, it would be 1.
And it's a mix of the Guardians playing better and the Tigers just playing awful. And look, they've really not been playing, even leading up to like the All-Star break. They really were starting to slow down a little bit. And we've been able to beat them for the most part ourselves. It was every other team we had struggles with. We were having, those troubles getting those, win streaks like this. I'll tell you what, man, if the Guardians squeak in and they win that division, that is not a team that you want to play, because
no.
If there's anything that I've learned in baseball as a fan over the years, this reminds me of 2016 all over again for us, is when you come into a postseason red hot like this, you are the most dangerous freaking team to play, because you just have this extra oomph about you, And I've been saying it, like if you can hit your stride in August and really start to play really, really well like they have, dude, it's September 20th right now.
Yeah.
This thing could be done by the end of next week if we can just win the series. And the Guardians have proven that they can beat the Tigers. So I do have a little bit of faith. Now, I don't want to get too ahead of myself because things can happen. It is baseball. But man, oh man, there's at least the opportunity. And that's all that you can ask for after a season like this, having, freaking Clase going down.
Ortiz.
Ortiz, just all of the stuff that we've dealt with, trading Santana away, or actually DFAing him, dealing with Lane Thomas and not being able to play all year long. You don't have CDL up here. You don't have Bazzana up here. You don't have your major guys that you thought you would have at this point of the season if you were going to make a run. And the Guardians are making a freaking run. These guys are coming up clutch. Bo Naylor plays amazing against the Twins, apparently. Obviously, Jose continues to just do his thing. He has another 30 for 30 year, which is insanity. Manzardo has been playing well. Schneemann has been playing well. Rocchio has been playing well. Kafis has been doing excellent. Like, everybody is pitching in. Everybody is doing stuff on the field, in the batter's box. It is fun to see. This is when baseball is really, really, really fun to watch. Is when your team is hot like this. And dude, when you have that going and you have that rolling, like I said, you are not the team that anybody wants to play, because if you squeak into the playoffs, just like, with you having a 5.5 game lead throughout the entire, the entire year, and you're good, it's a lot easier to kind of mosey on into the season than it's squeaking in the way that you do, and also avoiding the wild card. You avoid the wild card, that's even bigger.
Yeah, you go straight to the ALDS.
Yeah, so especially winning the freaking division, like that's no tough feat, especially with how rough this season has been. But the Guardians have been able to keep themselves around that 3.5 games back stretch between the AL wild card and the division. So they have an opportunity here, and I am stupid. This week's gonna be nuts. Like, Tuesday is, I guarantee you that whole place is gonna be sold out all week.
Oh, absolutely,
guaranteed, 1,000%. There's no doubt about it. Guardians fans will show up.
Yeah, no, and I'm definitely gonna be there, and it's definitely gonna be the place to be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because again, this is the time where you could clinch the division just out of nowhere. A month ago, you were 15.5 games back, and everyone thought you were done and out. Like, everyone thought this was done. This is over.
Yeah, that was
me. And then next thing you know, you just check back in a month later, and you're like, holy shit, we're a game away from the division. We're, as of right now, basically a half a game out of the wild card, because Houston and Seattle are playing each other, and whoever wins that series, whoever wins those games, keep going back and forth at first place in the West, and whoever loses is fighting with the Guardians. And right now, Houston's going to go on a 2-game losing streak to Seattle. So it means Seattle looks like they're taking the West, and Houston's fighting the Guardians. And Boston, I think they're up 3-2 right now in Tampa Bay. And if Tampa Bay beats them, Boston's still right there with the Guardians too. Yeah. The Guardians would be, at the end of today, a half a game out of the wild card and a game out of the division. It is incredible of what this team could do. And we've already locked up a winning season, even if we don't make the postseason.
Yeah.
I think it's 12 out of 13 years already. We've locked up a winning season, even if we didn't make the postseason. So this just tells you, and I tell you what, I know a lot of people are ready to send Vogt to the moon during the year. And I tell you what, he really turned things around. He really said, I got to get these boys motivated. I got to get these boys going. I am working with nothing right now. And he sat there and he took a whole bunch of nothing into a 10-game win streak. And what's really been the key is a starting pitching. This entire, first and foremost, after the All-Star break, the Guardians have the second best record in baseball after the All-Star break.
Right.
Second best record in the entirety of baseball. Detroit, I think, had the third or fourth worst. But for the fact is, the Guardians pitchers for the past, I think it's like month, have a 10-0 record with a 120 ERA. The starting pitching. I just watched Logan Allen pitch the 8th inning and just go 1-2-3 in the 8th. Our
Hmm.
pitcher, Logan Allen, he just cleared the 8th inning. So that's what's been really helping too, is that the starters are going, instead of going 4 or 5 innings like we saw earlier this season, they're going 7, 8. They're throwing complete games at this point.
Yeah.
And what's really been helping is that the bullpen has been able to get rest, and it's made guys like Matt Festa, Jacob Junis, K. Smith a lot more effective out of the bullpen, because now they're like, oh, good, I don't have to pitch 4 days in a row coming in the 5th inning and trying to pitch 3 innings or whatever,
Yeah.
and getting crushed. Now these guys can sit back, relax, and enjoy life in the bullpen because the starters are doing their job. The starters are going 7 through almost the entirety of a game. So there's a lot of credit that needs to be made, and especially too for Corey Kluber to come into this clubhouse and really change the starting pitching around,
Oh
because
yeah.
that's been the main reason. I think there's a stat of, before Kluber came into the clubhouse, the Guardians averaged like, the starting pitching average was like a 4.60 ERA, and they were giving up a lot. And then ever since he's been here, it's gone down to like a 150, 160 ERA.
Yeah.
Like, he has really turned. Look at what's been going on. He made Gavin Williams and Tanner Bybee look like aces, like they're supposed to be. He made Logan Allen go from a guy who was in AAA for 90% of the year last year to one of the team's best starters. He got Saccone almost throwing like 2 no-hitters during the season.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy comes into the clubhouse and really changes that starting pitching staff. I mean, Joey Cantillo has come up from AAA, and ever since he's came up from AAA, he's been just dogging on every team he's faced and showing absolutely zero fear as a rookie or as a second-year player.
Plus,
Like,
Messick as well has also been
yeah,
able to kind of throw some gems as well. Like, dude,
yeah,
having that sort of sixth guy in the starting role is helping those guys not have to
yeah,
feel like they got to pitch as much. And you wonder how you can do something like that in the playoffs, because obviously you have less guys to use.
mhm.
So you almost wonder if you bring one of those guys like Cantillo or something to come out of the bullpen and play
Oh,
some bulk,
absolutely.
innings and a chance. But like, dude, uh, I've been impressed. I've been impressed with the fact that despite how crazy this season's been,
Mhm.
how I mean, it's been rough. Like, these guys have had to deal with they have had literal teammates that have been throwing games.
Yeah,
Like, actually, there isn't necessarily proof yet, but they're still suspended without pay, and it's probably going to keep going. Like, this was real, and that clubhouse had to probably check itself quite a few times,
yeah,
and they've stayed resilient. Vogt has proven that he is resilient enough to at least keep the guys afloat. Like, he may not always make the right choices in game because he's still young, but I think it is important to note that at least he keeps the clubhouse in check. He keeps them aligned. He keeps them ready to go. And that is saying something. I did want to pull up the stats that you were trying to throw out at us
okay,
when it comes to the starters. They have a 1.53 ERA over the last 15 games with a team record of 13-2 over that span. Cantillo has had 3 starts. He has a .09 or 0.95 ERA. Bybee in 3 starts has a 1.225. Saccone has a 1.32 in two starts. Greg Williams in 3 starts has a 1.5. Messick has 2 starts with a 1.5, and Allen has 2 starts with a 3.60. And these guys are not giving up a lot of hits. And the big thing with Bybee is he's not giving up any more home runs. Thankfully.
yeah,
Like, that was his big problem, and as of late, he's been doing better. With Greg, with Williams, I think his only major thing is he has walks at times, and he does give up hits earlier on in the game. But, dude, after the second or third inning, he really starts to hit his stride. He just throws a lot of He just throws a lot through 5 innings, and he's already at close to 100 for the day. So, but he's able to still strike out. He has 18 strikeouts in 3 starts in in 18 innings. Like when you look at that, that's insanity. So these guys are really playing well, and it's no secret that Bybee is definitely a reason why this is going better. Like having Klugluber in the lineup, or not the lineup, but just in the staff in general, dude, it's helping. It's helping so much. These guys are learning a lot along the way, and the guards have still been able to hit, and they've been able to mix it up with power. And just like tonight, like I don't even think they have a home run in this game. It's been all singles and doubles, just driving in runs. But the game before that, earlier on today, it was 5 home runs with 4 different guys.
Yeah.
So, Bo had 2 of them today in that first game. So like this team is just able to kind of do a little bit of both. And like that's the way that the Guardians had success last year. Like that's how they won the games that they did last year, was you were able to just out hit and just outgut a lot of teams and just continue to keep it close within those first 5 or 6 innings. And then once you get even just a 1-run lead with that bullpen, you were always guaranteed to come out with a dub. And it hasn't been really the same now because we don't have one of the best closers in baseball right now. But Cade Smith is getting better. He's starting to throw better. And overall, the guards just have a better situation going on right now. So I don't want to like overhype and overtalk this because we're going to end up jinxing ourselves. But the guys are playing well. It's really fun to see, and I really hope that they can do this. Because if they do, dude, you want to talk about, the Browns' lack of success is going to be made up because of the Guardians playing well, and then the Cavs starting in the next, month and a half here. Like literally sports is going to be in prime. It's going to be perfect time, and it's going to be a godsend, especially if the Browns are going to struggle as much as we all anticipate this is going to happen, which we will get into here in a minute. But yeah, man, I'm excited. And I know you are too, because you've been going to games consistently, and I know you guys are gonna have fun. I'm gonna try to make a game this week, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to. It's harder to when you live 50 minutes away. It's a lot more work to do all that than being in your spot where you get to live right there and walk there. So it's nice to have that. But regardless, it's gonna be great. I'm so excited to see what this can turn into, because that's gonna be a story. If they win the Central, that is a story and a half.
I think it would be the biggest come from behind division win since like 1978, when the Red Sox gave up like a 14 game division lead or whatever, a game lead in their division back in the 1970s. The fact that you came back from 15 and a half is absolutely incredible. And Zach Kent is just dealing right now in the 9th inning, by the way. He just had 2 straight strikeouts and getting ready to close this thing out for an 8-0 dub for the boys. And then looking at the top of the screen in the corner, you have the Tampa Bay Rays, who just scored and tied up Boston. So that helps the Guardians a ton too for the wild card race. So things looking up for the Guards right now, as teams are not only helping you, but Detroit's also helping you too by losing games. And you know what? I think Tuesday is going to be a lot of fun, because I believe it's Gavin Williams versus Tarek Skubal on Tuesday. So game 1 is going to be intense as is already.
Oh yeah.
And I can already tell you that game 1 on Tuesday is going to feel like a postseason game.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Like I'm telling you that whole series is going to feel like a playoff series, because
it's going to feel like the postseason.
It really is. It's going to be like a mini wild card race for us. Like it's so fun how absolutely real this is going to be.
Yeah.
Like the Guardians literally have a chance to come into that game being tied for the division with how they are winning and how Detroit keeps losing. Dude, they've lost 2 now to Atlanta. Atlanta is not as good this year as they have been in previous years, and they blew a lead today. They blew a lead in the 7th inning. So,
and just like the Guardians win.
I'm telling you, man, Detroit is feeling it. the
Yep.
fans are, I heard one fan was literally crying in a space on X earlier today,
That's awesome.
and it's like, dude, it's so real. These
It's setting
fans
it for those fans.
yeah, they thought a 10-game lead was enough, and you would think it would be, but not in
Also,
baseball, man.
I was wrong. If Boston and Houston both lose, by the way, the Guardians would be tied for the second and third wild card spot. For the second wild card spot, at least, because all three teams will have the exact same record
Right.
of 84 and 71. So and and Houston's losing right now, and if Boston loses too, that just makes the Guardians case a lot more better, because if you don't win the division, at least you still have a wild card slot to get, and you still have October baseball to try and look forward to. So just all the better news right then and there is that if you can get both teams to lose, all three are tied for the wild card right now. And now the Guardians are a game back of Detroit.
Oh man,
Please,
a
please,
full game.
everyone, please pray for a sweep for Detroit and us to sweep the Twins, and we could go tied for the division lead going into Tuesday, bring the home series.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be great.
It's gonna be so much fun.
I'm very excited. I'm very very excited. But we did spend a good bit of time here on the Guardians. We'll obviously talk again next week. Hopefully, we'll see what day we end up recording, because again, with the series being starting on Tuesday, we'll see if Drew has availability or not with his wanting to go to the games. But yeah, let's go ahead and dive into Browns, because I know there's not really a whole lot to talk about in terms of the Ravens game. It was nice to see the defense playing good for 3 quarters, and really they played well the whole game. It was too much. It was just the offense not producing once again, and the defense staying on the field for way too long. Of course, the Ravens were gonna, yeah, at some point turn on the gas pedal just a little bit and run it up, because it's the Ravens. That's what they do. The Ravens run it up. If they have a lead, they don't care. John Harbaugh is who he is. The Ravens are who they are for a reason.
Yeah.
So you lose by a pretty good good margin. I expected us to lose like 41-17 was my sort of predict, and pretty much what it was. It was not a good game. There was some glimpses of hope. Especially at the end of the game, you got to see the rookie throw a touchdown at the end of the game. Judkins played a pretty good game with his limited snaps. He's definitely going to see an uptick this week. And at this point, man, I don't know how much you're going to see of Jerome Ford after this now.
Well, it seems like Kansas City are inquiring about Jerome Ford, so
yeah, that's what I've heard.
you could ship him off to Kansas City and be like, "Listen, be gone, brother. We don't need you."
Yeah, I mean, you really don't. I mean, you can at this point just roll with the rookies. Like, I mean, 3 rookies. Just roll with it. Who cares?
And they've all been productive.
Yeah.
Like Sampson's been really good in the passing game. He's also had a couple decent runs, and then Judkins is just that. Judkins is going to be that Nick Chubb replacement. Like,
yeah, he really is.
I could really tell the way he runs. He's going to be that Nick Chubb replacement. Because, the one thing I see him do more than I see Jerome Ford do is when he doesn't have a hole, he takes it to the outside and gets an extra couple of yards if he can. And that's what I love about him, because he's done that multiple times against the Ravens, and he found some space in a couple of those. And a time where he almost took it all the way. So, Judkins has really shown the vision that a running back should have, and he's shown how he could be such a good power back too, because he's also breaking tackles too. So I'm excited to see what he could do more Sunday with a lot more reps instead of just 10 12 carries or whatever, because he also had 60-65 yards with those 10-12 carries. So I tell you what, he did a lot with with how much he was limited. And I tell you what, he also received a couple passes too, and had some good runs off the pat with some passes. So I tell you what, dude, I think Judkins is going to be really good for the Cleveland
Absolutely.
Browns, and it's all in the sense of the same old question we've been asking for basically 20 years: who the hell is going to be this quarterback? Who the hell is who's going to be this quarterback? Because we all know that Joe Flacco is not going to be the quarterback for much longer because he's just too old, and you know it looks like he still has it, but it's only in glimpses,
Yeah.
and you can't pray for glimpses. You got to pray for consistency and a guy who can keep you in ball games. Like, yeah, he played good against the Bengals, but when you play against a real team like the Ravens, that's where the age and everything shows, and it caught up to him really, really, really fast.
Oh yeah.
So, and I tell you what, Gabriel drove downfield at the end of the game and made a pretty good touchdown pass over a defender's head, and put it only where the receiver can get it. So he threw it almost into double coverage, got it over one guy's head, and put it perfectly. So it was a perfect ball.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes you wonder when he threw that, like, damn, could this kid be legit? Could this kid have at least something, like at least consistency to keep us in ball games and just do enough to make smarter decisions, like on the rollouts that Flacco had where he threw a pick. Instead of throwing a pick there, maybe he throws it out of bounds instead of just wasting it down and stuff like that.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen. Honestly, it might be a lot earlier than our regular prediction, where we said that it's going to be after the gauntlet. It might be during the gauntlet we see him. So I will say that we could see Gabriel sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, my girlfriend just called me.
Oh, you're good.
I was like, hey, honey, I'm kind of recording my podcast. Give me like 30 minutes. But yeah, it's man, this team, this next few games is gonna be tough, man. This is the roughest stretch, and like that. That's why I think that's why it was so debilitating to lose to the Bengals the way that we did. Is because it was like, man, that's the only game we're really like not guaranteed to win, but we had a good chance of winning, and you flop it. So it's like, when's the next time you're gonna get a game? The Vikings, maybe. Like that's the next game that I can see that might be it, and I think that's the London game if I'm not mistaken.
That is the London game, yeah.
So that could be a chance where you see Gaio, Dylan Gabriel at this point. I mean, I don't know. I don't know the goal here. Well, like I don't, and I think that's what's frustrating about us is we don't really have a plan. It's just, can we win a few games? And then that's it. Like it's, because Stefanski, he does need to technically fight for his life here because, I mean, dude, if he wins another 3 games this season, it's going to be really hard. No matter how much people are saying that he's safe, dude. If you can't win some games, like you're probably going to get canned just because that's how the NFL works. And it's the same thing with Barry, and I just put out an article with TheDawgLand about how many times Andrew Barry has failed this team. And it's shown tremendously. It sucks, and I know it. It's hard for us to kind of identify with, but I think some fans are getting to that point, especially with me. I'm getting over it. Like I'm almost ready to just start fresh and with a new regime, see what they do, like see what else they blow up, because now you can't trade Garrett because that's going to be a crazy amount of dead cap. You can probably trade Ward. You can try to get rid of Watson and just deal with his dead cap. You basically got to revamp the entire line because the offensive line is old. Half of them are hurt. I mean, Batonio was questionable this week with the back, thing he's dealing with, and he'll probably play. But if he's at even 70%, that's not good for a guy at Batonio's age. Like him at 70% is more like 30% for like a guy that's around like our age or even younger. Yeah. So it's like, that's not good. And Conklin probably won't play either. It doesn't seem like his elbow is ready yet. I don't know what's going on with that. But again, like you keep investing in guys that haven't been able to really contribute consistently to this team, and yet we keep thinking so highly of them. Like, dude, there's still talk about Watson playing this year. That's how down bad we're gonna be. That's just reality. Is we're talking about Watson could play this year. Most Browns fans don't even want him on the field again. They don't even want to see him in a uniform. Yet that's still going to probably be forced on us because if Flacco sucks and Gabriel, goes out and he just looks like a deer in headlights and just gets absolutely murked, you definitely can't throw Shadur out there because he's going to be even worse. Dude, it's not a good spot to be in. So the Browns need to figure it out and roll with the punches. But the only saving grace is the rookies look good. The rookie class looks good. I mean, Cameron looks great. Horsinger looks great. Judkins looks great. Sampson looks great. We really haven't seen the quarterbacks just yet. And Fannin, Fannon's going to turn into a top 5 tight end in the next 2 or 3 seasons. I can stamp that on somebody's forehead right now. There's no way he's not going to become a top 5 tight end, especially with a lot of these guys getting older. Like Kelsey's going to be done probably after this year. I can guarantee that. Zach Ertz is going to be on his tail end. The only other guys that are going to be good are probably going to be Bowers, Kittle, if he can still survive. I mean, Kittle's not getting any younger. There's opportunity for, a guy like Fannin to really take up and be that next big time tight end. So there's still a lot to be excited for, but it's not too much excited in this coaching staff and the front office because there's not much confidence there, and that's what sucks. So we'll see how it goes. I don't think it's going to be necessarily a bloodbath tomorrow, but it's certainly I don't expect us to win this game. If we do, Green Bay showed up in a bad way. Then if we somehow win this game or somebody gets hurt, which obviously I don't want that to happen, but that's the only way that I can really, truly see the Browns finding a way to get a dub here. But we'll see. If they can show some resiliency and they can at least stop the run, that's what's going to help sort of put Love in a little bit of a box. But you got to pressure him. But you also got to block a guy like Micah Parsons because he's been wreaking havoc over the last 2 weeks. So it's not going to get any easier here. It's really not.
No. I did want to ask, did you see what Herm Edwards said about Dylan Gabriel?
Yeah. He said he looks just like Brian Sipe, which I kind of agree, but I just keep seeing Tua. I see way more of Tua in him because he's a lefty too. But I know Brian Sipe wasn't that big of a guy either. Obviously, we didn't grow up seeing him.
Right.
But it's not a bad analogy, but it's hard to see that.
Well, my thing is too is like, I get it's kind of a big comparison in Browns fans' eyes because obviously Brian Sipe almost took us to multiple Super Bowls in his time. If it wasn't for the drive and for the fumble, the Browns would have gone to 2 Super Bowls because of Sipe. But I think the reason why the comparison is there is because of how simplified Dylan Gabriel plays the game, where he doesn't try to do too much. But he also takes risks, but doesn't try to do too much of it. Exactly. He'll take a deep shot here and there if he sees it there, but he's also not going to gamble on a double coverage or he's not going to take a sack. He's going to throw the ball away before he takes a sack, or he's going to run and whatnot. I think the comparison's pretty good because I think it just means that he's not like an elite level quarterback, but he plays a game clean enough to at least keep you alive in games.
Right. Like it's not like he's a dumb player. Again, no. I think mechanically he's there, but physically is what he's going to have to overcome and have to figure out if he's going to be any sort of productive in this league. I mean, it's not like we don't see guys that are his height that can't have success. I mean, Kyler is a pretty solid quarterback. He's not amazing, but he can win you games and he can do some things with with the ball. But Kyler can also throw the ball a heck of a lot better than Gabriel, in my opinion.
For sure.
But if Gabriel can find a way to kind of overcome or sort of overcompensate the traits physically and overcome that, maybe he can have success. It's just I don't know how all that looks. I don't know how that's going to work. So I'm not the guy that can predict that.
Oh,
And
me neither.
that's why I would much rather just play for getting a guy next season in this next draft, because there's going to be 6 guys going out in the first round anyway.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have the Archie Manning, you're gonna have the Drew Aller going and whatnot, but I just think it's a interesting comparison by Herm
It
Edwards,
is. It definitely
and
will.
I just think, like you said with tomorrow in regards, all you have to do is just slow down that run game that they have with Josh Jacobs, and if you can just get to Jordan Love a couple times, again, that offense can't do much. But the issue is that on the flip side, it's Micah Parsons versus Myles Garrett. You know, it's going to be who's going to have the most sacks by the end of the game.
Yeah.
Who's going to dominate who. And it's going to be a fun, interesting battle to watch. But I'll tell you the guy I'm looking forward to most seeing is Carson Schlesinger.
Yeah.
Because that kid is probably my defensive rookie of the year.
Yeah, so far.
So far, like that kid is everywhere and he just flies on that field and he's a baller. And I respect the hell out. And with JOK on his Instagram message basically saying that he's eyeing a return for next year. If you can get JOK next year and Carson Schlesinger, that linebacker room is probably the best linebacker room in the league.
Especially, I'll throw this out here too. If you get a top 5 pick and you have a chance to take a guy like Caleb Downs,
oh yeah,
you do that. You do that. I don't care who's on the board for for QBs, because you're getting another pick anyway, probably in the top 10.
Yeah.
So like, dude, if that would be our defense, that is a good start. That is a good way to be like, okay, now we need to transition all of our potluck, all of this stuff that we need now on the offensive side of the ball, rookie-wise, on the offensive side of the ball. We need more linemen. We need more receivers that can actually produce.
Yeah.
And we need to figure out a way to put points on the board. That's the main thing. The defense has it already as is.
You just need the offense.
Put points on the board.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is like when it came to this draft, there was a chance to. Don't get me wrong, I love having Mason Graham. Mason Graham has actually played very well at the start of his NFL career. But I think you could have gone a receiver there. I think you could have gone maybe an offensive tackle there. Or you could have gotten some kind of offensive tackle late in the draft instead of maybe a secondary quarterback or a secondary running back. You could have gotten something. And I think the Browns kind of blew their opportunity to get some offensive help. And don't get me wrong, the picks that Andrew Berry made so far this year, I have him panning out very nicely. Harold Fannon's a fun player to watch. Sampson and Judkins are going to be a tandem for years to come. And just seeing Carson Schlesinger and Mason Graham light up that defense is going to be fun for years to come. I think this is the one and only time. And again, we haven't seen the QBs just yet, but as of right now, this is probably the best draft that Andrew Berry's ever had. And I think he really nailed this draft.
It's his only saving grace. It's the only way that he can keep his job. And like I will say, the Watson thing, that's the biggest thing that hurt him. Everything else could theoretically be forgiven had he just not messed up the Watson thing. Because you're moving on from Baker anyway during that time. Like that wasn't a shock, and like everybody that thinks that would have gone any differently at all, it doesn't understand ball. It doesn't understand the trajectory of what was going on. Like it's not like he didn't just flop here. He flopped in Carolina too,
and he had one good game in LA.
Yeah, and then that was it. So it's like, he got in a good spot. He grew up a little bit.
Yeah,
and he found an offense that catered to him and had a ton of weapons. I mean, listen, Cleveland had weapons per se, but they had a outdated Landry, a outdated Odell that was barely on the field. You had a great running game, but you didn't have enough of what would make Baker succeed. He really needed a spread offense, like a 5 wide most of the time, with a guy out of the backfield that could run and pass catch. Like that.
Mhm.
That's what Big needed. And it just sucks that we didn't get a chance to do that with him. But it's here and we're there. Like it ends up being, down the road, and it is what it is. I'm just tired of these freaking people talking about Baker, man. It's been 5 years. There's nothing else that we
Yeah, that's my big issues. Like
sorry, 3 years, but still, like
that's what I mean. It's been so long. Can we please stop talking about Baker Mayfield for like ever now, please? Like it's so annoying that we're still talking about this guy. I don't want to talk about him anymore. I don't want people to talk about, like, I get it. Yes, he's having success in Tampa Bay, but that doesn't mean he's gonna have that same success in Cleveland.
right,
It's always those what ifs, that we came up with. My biggest what if back in the day when I was in like middle school and high school was, what if Tom Brady went to the Cleveland Browns instead of the Patriots? Does he have the same career? Does he win 7 Super Bowls? The answer is probably no, and he probably doesn't even make a Super Bowl in his career. So it's one of those things where it's like you can't sit here and say that Baker's career is going to pan out like it did in, like it did in Tampa. Just like you had was the player there all along? Absolutely, the player was there. Just the attitude that killed him and got him off the team. If he was just not playing Halo, or there was the new Call of Duty game on the day before the Christmas game against the Green Bay Packers a couple of years ago, and looked at the playbook. You had a chance of beating the Packers, and that would have been a start to a playoff run in that year. I think it was 2019, and you could have made the playoff that year if you won that game, and or at least had a chance at the playoffs. I think you had to win like one more game or 2 more games to make the postseason.
yeah,
And you sat there and you're like, screw the playbook, man. I'm gonna just play Call of Duty because it just came out like a few hours ago.
right,
Like, bro, what are we doing, dog? Like, this is why your ass got cut and you went to Carolina. Like, this is exactly why. Because it's like you had this big attitude and you just didn't care. And it's like, oh, great, here's Manziel 2.0 who doesn't care. He just wants to make money and do whatever the hell he wants. And, but, don't get me wrong, I'm always very happy for Baker. Like, he deserves the success he has, and I'm glad he grew up, and it even came from, and for the Browns fans who keep wanting him here, whatever, it came from his own mouth where he said, "Yeah, I had a lot of growing up to do,
right,
and it took me 3 teams to grow up and finally realize it's not about me. It's not about this and that. It's about just playing the game I love and going out there and winning football games." And guess what? He was able to turn his career around. He was not doing that here. He was not doing it here, and he was never going to do it here.
right,
So we can please stop playing this game of what ifs if Baker was here. It's done. It's over. Like, let him just have his career in Tampa Bay and let him retire and let him live his life. Like, please stop with this shit. And I know who it is too. It's the same people, and
it is.
like
Same people. It never
it's
ends either.
it's so annoying. And they act like they're like elite ball knowers because of it or something. They're like,
Right.
I was right. We shouldn't have let go Baker Mayfield. And it's like, you don't know what the fuck was going to happen with Baker Mayfield.
I mean, hey, listen. The only thing that I can say is that I knew out of that class, it was going to either be, Josh Allen or Baker. Those were
Oh,
the guys that the Browns would have chose.
I got laughed at because for one of my um classes at the Ohio Media School, I have it. I think it's in my journal or my notebook that I've written stuff down in. I had a YouTube video because that was like back in like 2018 when I first started watching guys like Brett Coleman on YouTube. Which, if you haven't checked out Brett Coleman, he's awesome. But I did one. I was gonna do one for the NFL draft for 2018. I written an article about some of the top picks the Browns could have had, and I landed on 2. of the 2018 pick, because I said in the article, out of like 5 people, I had Denzel and Baker in there as guys to get in the first round, and I nailed both. But in my YouTube video, and the one thing that everyone laughed at me in class was I had Josh Allen as probably going to be one of the better as the best quarterback in that draft class. I said Josh Allen would be, because I was like, his ceiling, he has the highest ceiling. I was like, he's a guy who plays with a lot of grit. He can run. He's a big body. So when he does run, you're going to get trucked. And I was like, and he's got a cannon for an arm, and he's pretty accurate. And people forgot about the accuracy. But again, it's just, everyone's like, well, he went to Wyoming. So it's the school for me. And it's like, okay. I was like, who cares? They're like, when has the school ever mattered?
Yeah. I mean, freaking Pat Mahomes went to Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like that. Like that's not a school that is like very well renowned with quarterbacks. I mean Drew Brees came out of Stanford.
Yeah, Drew Brees was Purdue.
Yeah.
So it's like, who cares where these guys come from? Some of the best quarterbacks in the league went to the small schools. I mean, look at Joe Flacco, who won a Super Bowl and went to the University of Delaware.
Yeah, Delaware.
Who cares what school you go to? I had Josh Allen as the best QB in the draft class, and now nobody's laughing at me for saying that anymore. I was like, and guess what? He could have been a Brown. But everyone thought it was wild to get him in I was like, you didn't even need to get him with the 4th pick. Because I think, or no, he had to get him with the 1st pick, because I think he went as 5th pick he went? I forget who the first 4 were. I know it was Baker and Denzel for 1 and 4. I forget. 2 was Josh Rosen, I believe. Or 3 was Josh Rosen. I can't remember the Cardinals pick.
It probably was that. Yeah, it was that year.
Yeah, 2018. It was Josh.
2018 draft results.
I think Josh Allen or Josh Rosen was like the second or third pick. It always slips my mind who the top few were.
I'll tell you right now, as soon as I can get to it here. It was Baker, Sam Darnold,
number 2, yeah.
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen was 3. Okay.
Obviously, Lamar went.
It was 32.
Of the round.
The 31st pick, yeah. He was the last pick in the first round.
Okay. So, yeah, that's what it was. It was obviously Baker. It was Saquon at 2.
Saquon at 2, okay.
Then Darnold, then Ward, then Bradley Chubb. That's a name we've heard in a minute.
Wow.
Quentin Nelson went 6th, and then Josh Allen went 7th to Buffalo. So Raekwon Smith went 8th. St. San Fran took Mike McGlinchey, who was a tackle, and then Josh Rosen went 10th.
Okay.
And then Minka went just after them. So Minka went after Josh Rosen.
That's
hilarious.
That was another guy I had in my written article that for the Browns to target was Minka Fitzpatrick.
Yeah. And then obviously we got
Denzel.
And then in the round 2 we actually started with Corbett and then we got Chubb.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I totally forgot we had good Corbett that year.
But yeah, you could have easily gotten Josh Allen in that draft too.
I know it. We had Chad Thomas too.
Oh, was it really? That was
the rapper, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
That was rapper, yeah.
That's so funny.
That's really funny. That was a Dorsey pick, so that's funny.
Yeah,
man. It was just one of those things that like you knew. Yeah. I felt the same way about Pat. About Pat Mahomes. I thought Pat was going to be the guy, and he wasn't even the first guy chosen. I think Watson may have went in front of him. I think that was also the year Trubisky went. Maybe was that year?
20. I think Trubisky was the year after. I think he was in 2019.
Okay. Whatever year it was. But yeah. It's not hard to kind of project what QB is going to be better. Like even last year in the rookies, like everybody was so high on Caleb Williams, and we both said Jane Daniels going to be the better one.
Yeah.
Jane Daniels is way better.
It was too easy.
It was.
Well, what stood out
even Bo Nix, like we knew Bo Nix was going to be good. We knew Drake May was going to take some time, but knew he had it, and all he needed was a better coach. And then now he's got Vrabel. God, he's
played a couple of good games already. Yeah,
he's going to be just fine. So again, it's like it's not hard to predict some of these players.
No,
it's just they got to be in the right situation, That's
That's all it is.
It's just that simple. But that's pretty much all I got. I mean, I hope we don't die out there, but we'll see how it goes. It's going to be a warm game tomorrow too, and it's going to be one of the last dry days. Apparently, it's going to be raining like all week this week, so hopefully that doesn't affect Guardians games.
I mean, we did have a lot of sun.
It's been dry. Like everybody's yards are toasted right now. It looks like Arizona over here.
Oh God, yeah. It looks like Arizona here, yeah.
But all right, are you ready to get these picks?
Yeah, let's do. You ready to get into some predicts?
I as well.
All right, let's share the screen.
So obviously, we are not here to select the Thursday night game, but we both chose the Bills.
Yeah, I was gonna say for the people who said, or for the people we made our Thursday pick on Thursday before the game, so that way we had our pick ready to go. So we didn't cheat. So fair warning, we did not cheat. Just to go over week 2, Zach went 13-3 week 2. I went 14-2.
Gosh, we both did awesome. What was the game that was the difference?
It was the New Orleans San Francisco game. You had New Orleans, I had San Fran.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so I went 14-2, you went 13-3. So as it stands for after the first 2 weeks, I am at 26-6, and Zach is 23-9.
Yep. So
maybe
you got a 3-game lead on me.
Shit, maybe one of these days I'm gonna have to parlay all my selections, because if I go 14-2, I might have to parlay them.
Yeah, for real.
All right, let's get into some week 3 action. Obviously, we have the Buffalo game correct, so we're gonna skip that one. Going down to the Bengals versus Minnesota Vikings.
I mean, this is gonna be a weird game. I actually think the Bengals should do it. I know the Vikings are at home.
Yeah.
But Jake Browning doesn't play that bad for them.
No, he doesn't.
He's pretty solid. I expect like if you're going to start anybody in this game, it should be guys like Chase Brown and T. Higgins. I think they both do much better with Browning than guys like Chase do. So just a fair warning to anybody who is a fantasy owner of Chase's. Like still start him, but just expect him to have like 12 to 13 points this year or this week. So
I also chose Cincinnati, just for the fact that after watching the Atlanta Vikings game last week, that offense, or the offensive line for Minnesota, is horrible, and McCarthy's going to go down a lot. Mm-hmm. And when McCarthy's protected, he actually doesn't play bad. He's actually solid.
Well, here's the thing: McCarthy isn't playing, I don't think.
Yeah, he's out too. Yeah, he's out because I think he suffered an injury or something. So McCarthy's not even playing in this game. So I forget who the backup is too. I always used to think it's like I still always think of it as like Kellen Mond or like Joshua Dobbs, just because that's what I'm used to.
I want to say it might be Wentz. If I'm not
I think it's Carson Wentz. I think you're right. I think I saw that it was like Carson Wentz versus Jake Browning or something.
Yeah, I think that's who it is.
So I will definitely go with the Bengals, just because I think they're better structured than the Vikings right now. All right. Houston versus Jacksonville.
I'm going Houston because obviously I just want them to win this game. I want Jacksonville to lose.
Yeah.
They're just not playing that great. I mean, they've gotten somewhat lucky, but they haven't played really, really that great. The one thing that is nice is Travis Etienne has been playing out of his mind, over there. But Brian Thomas isn't really doing much in fantasy, and obviously the rookie there isn't doing too hot either. He's playing a lot of minutes, and as a result, he's not going to have some huge games. So Hunter has been struggling. So I'm going Texans.
Yeah, I went with Houston as well, just for the fact that I want Jacksonville to lose for the better draft pick. But then again, Jacksonville is just a bad team. And this is the one thing I laughed at before the season, is that how teams or people who predicted the season, whatever, all had the Browns as like the worst team in the AFC or whatever. And I was like, do we just forget the Jacksonville Jaguars exist? Like,
Right.
I would say Jacksonville's a lot worse than the Cleveland is.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know where that came from a lot of people that had the Browns as the worst team in the AFC, but I would say Jacksonville's a lot worse than us. So with that in mind, and the fun game against Tampa Bay last week was so much fun to watch. But I will give this to Houston. I just think they're better overall.
Right.
All right. Daniel Jones MVP versus the Tennessee Titans.
I mean, the Colts should win this. I mean, the Titans are still they're just kind of struggling. I mean, the offense doesn't look terrible. It's just they're not really able to score point points either like us. And the Colts have been playing pretty solid. The defense looks good. I know they're on the road, but I can expect the Colts to win this game.
Yeah, I said the same thing. I went with the Colts just because, again, they're the better team, and I would just expect them to play better. Cam Moore's getting his feet wet still, and it looks like he's getting better game by game. But this is just a team that needs a lot more time to get into the groove of things before they start get going. So give me the Colts for the early season dub. Pittsburgh and New England.
This is a interesting one. I think this one can go both ways, but I think for my sake and for what I think personally, I think the Pats got this one. Like they're at home. And I like the Patriots, man. They're playing decent ball. Drake May looked better last week than he did in week one. Give me Pats.
Yeah, I went with the Pats too. I think this is where we start seeing the Steelers exposed, and I think Drake May is going to have a good game at home. I like what he can do. I don't like. I think this Steelers offense is not insane by any means. And again, it's just one of those. If you can just get to Aaron Rodgers consistently, that offense is not doing anything. So you give me New England as the Steelers choked it, and they're going to choke it again. Next is the game for us: the Packers versus the Brownies.
I mean, Green Bay's going to win this game. It's going to be a little bit closer, I think, but there's not much to really say. The offense isn't really playing well. But if it's going to be a random game where the offense can click, it'll probably be against a team like the Packers, who they don't deserve to play well against. But knowing us, that's how it's going to go down. But the Packers are still going to win.
Oh yeah, I just have the Packers just because I think they're the better team overall, and it's one of those things where if it's the defense having to do everything and the offense can't get going, it's going to be a long day. So
yeah,
I will happily take the Green Bay Packers over the Cleveland Browns. All right, Rams versus Eagles.
Eagles. I mean, the Rams are playing pretty solid, but it's the Eagles. Like it's funny. They're probably the most boring team to watch, but they win.
Yeah.
They play sound ball. Yeah, they're going to win that game.
Yeah. Eagles for me, just based off everything you said. They just play boring football, but it works and they win. So I will take that, and they're at home. All right, so Jets and Bucks.
Bucks should win by 40 in this game.
By 1 million.
Because I'm pretty sure Fields is out, and Fields just had probably his worst game he's ever played.
Yeah.
Last week, so.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. Give me the Bucks because they lost their quarterback, and it doesn't really matter because their quarterback was bad. So I would happily take the Bucks by 1 million. Raiders versus Commanders.
This is an interesting one because Washington is not going to have Jane Daniels in this game.
No.
But the Raiders haven't been really putting it together. But Washington hasn't been really playing that great of defense. It's been a little weird. I think this is the Genty game. I think the Raiders get it done. I think Genty finally figures it out and has a good game. And I hope he has a good game because he's on 2 of my fantasy teams, and I really want him to play well. So this is my shot. Genty, he's going to have 100-plus yards, touchdown, maybe 2. I don't know, but it's going to be the Ashton Genty game. It has to be.
You think it's gonna be the Ashton Genty game? Yeah. In all honesty, I will happily take the Raiders. Um, Again, basically same reasons. Jaden Daniels is probably the guy who gives the Commanders the best chance to win, and I don't think Marcus Mariota is that guy. He's not that great. I'd rather have Geno Smith over Marcus Mariota every single day of the week, and yeah, the Commanders are starting to get a little beat up a little bit, so I will take a Raiders team here. The Falcons and the Panthers.
Panthers have been struggling, man, and the
Yeah.
Falcons look pretty solid. Like Bijan looks legit as hell. He could end up being the not the MVP, but he could definitely be player of the year for
Yeah.
offense. So I'm gonna take the Falcons. I hope that Drake London has a better game because I could use him to have a good game on my fantasy team.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Michael Penix Jr. and the Falcons over the Panthers. Although the Falcons did get rid of the best player on their team in Young Wei Koo just recently. And honestly, Browns should be calling the phone for Young Wei Koo. Bringing a good veteran kicker, which kind of weird that the Falcons got rid of him after like one bad game in reality. So kind of odd, but hey, there's a chance for the Browns to actually get a good veteran kicker into the facility and compete with Andre Schmidt, even though Schmidt actually had a good game against the Ravens.
Right.
But yeah, give me the Falcons and by a million. Broncos and Chargers. This is a tough one.
This is a good game, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Chargers mainly because they're at home and they have been. I mean, I think they're one of the better run defenses in the league. I know they're going to be without Khalil Mack. I just don't think that's going to weigh on them too much. Obviously, the Broncos have a good team. You know, Bo has been playing somewhat well, but the offense looks a little weird. Besides the run game, the passing game really hasn't been as efficient, and I don't think that's going to start against the Chargers. I think they get it done at home.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Chargers get it done at home. The Chargers have just looked really good to start the year. I mean, they beat the Chiefs and Herbert has been cruising along, making really good plays and playing really good football.
Yes.
And I think Harbaugh has really done this team. I think Harbaugh has really turned this team around. And so I will take the Chargers over the Denver Broncos. Saints versus Seahawks.
This is going to be a snooze fest, but the Seahawks should win. They're at home. The Saints are atrocious.
Yeah.
I mean, they are the worst team in the league by far. They're definitely worse than us. Again, I know the Seahawks haven't been elite or anything. They might be without JSN, but the run game should be able to at least get them to the finish line.
Yeah, I mean, give me the Seahawks. It should just be no contest, especially in Seattle. I think it's just going to be a bloodbath.
Yeah.
Seattle should be able to drop like 30 plus on New Orleans and just walk away without giving up at least like 2 touchdowns. Like I doubt they'll give up 2 touchdowns. So yeah, give me the Seattle Seahawks. Cowboys and Bears.
Until the Bears prove to me that they can actually win a game and that Caleb Williams is solid, I'm gonna go Dallas. I know the Bears are at home, but Dallas, I mean, their offense looks good. The defense, looks all right. Dak looks good. Dallas is not a bad team still, even without Micah. So I think Dallas gets it done. It could be close because the Bears have a decent defense, but I think the boys got it.
Yeah, I mean, the boys have got it. Like you said, until Caleb Williams and the rest of the Bears team impress me, this team is just as bad as recent times. Like, I don't see this being real. I know the game's in Chicago, but the Cowboys are just better off. I mean, I think everybody knows that. This is an interesting one too. But the Cardinals versus the 49ers.
I think San Fran can get this done at home, but I do think the Cardinals could also win this game. Like this is one of those games that is going to go either way. I really do, but San Fran didn't look too bad. Mac Jones looked good in that offense, and they still have CMC, so they always have a chance. And the defense is still able to at least hold teams. So if they can contain Kyler, if they can contain the run game there, I think San Fran can win that game close. But I think they can do it because they're at home.
Yeah, I mean, I did the same thing. I said, give me San Fran just for the fact that as long as CMC is still healthy and you have a couple of those guys like Ricky Pearsall and at least a couple of the other guys, and that defense being healthy, I think they just have a good chance of winning football games. And like you said, Mac Jones did not look terrible last week. He actually looked kind of solid a little bit. So I would take San Fran.
Yeah.
Kansas City versus New York. The 0-2 Chiefs.
This is the weird one. Now, I will say the Chiefs should win this game, but they have not played well. Now, to be fair, they played some really good opponents here to start. The Giants looked better last week against Dallas. They finally were putting up some points, so maybe this could be a flashier game. But I think Kansas City has to get it done. You cannot afford to start this year 0-3 as a multi Super Bowl winning team with a guy like Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid, Travis Kelce. You got Taylor Swift on your side. Dang it! Like you should be able to win some games. I think they can get it done, but I think New York is going to make this interesting, especially because A, they're at home, but B, this is prime time. But it also might be a little bit of a more boring game. But I think Kansas City should be able to get this one done.
Yeah, I went with Kansas City just for the fact that they should be able to win. This is the opponent to get your wins going, and if they don't win this game, there could be some real general concern about where Kansas City is heading as a football team, because it's not going to look good if you lose to the Giants and you start the year 0-3, and you start the year the same record as the Cleveland Browns. That's not a good look.
Yeah, it's not.
So give me Kansas City. I think they finally get their head out of their asses and actually win a football game. And then probably the best Monday Night Football game we've seen in a long time, the Lions and the Ravens.
This one might be a ultra shootout for me.
Yeah.
Like, this will be
a fun watch.
This is going to be a fun one. I'm going to pick Detroit, though. The Ravens defense has not really impressed me. They really haven't. And Detroit still has a pretty solid defense. They had a much better game last week. I know it was against a more inferior opponent, but I'm picking Detroit to win this game against the Ravens. The Ravens did not really even impress me, even in the game that they played against us. We held our own for the first 3 quarters, and then we ran out of gas.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen against a team like Detroit, who can actually score some freaking points. So give me the Lions all day on the road.
Yeah, dude, we have the same exact thing the entire way down.
Love it.
The Detroit Lions are going to win this football game just for the fact that, number one, I can't stand the Ravens. But number two, like you said, the Browns held their own for 3 full quarters before the fourth quarter came and decimated, finally caught up to the Browns, and the game was just over in the fourth quarter. That Ravens defense is not that great. Kyle Hamilton, even though he got paid, doesn't look like he deserved to have gotten paid by the way he's been playing so far this season. He looks atrocious. The only one who's really been playing really well in that defense is Roquan Smith, it feels like. And that's the guy who probably should have gotten paid. So that defense for the Ravens, it's not that great. And in all honesty, if the Ravens make the playoffs this year, it's going to be another one and done for them most likely, because what good does this team? This team is nothing. It looks like their defense is garbage and the offense can't do everything. So Give me Detroit. Like I said, this could be a pretty big shootout. And I just like Detroit a lot better in this game.
Let's go. I love it. Love
God,
it,
we're
love it.
Insane at every single pick.
We're so back, man. We are so
Go
back.
back.
Peep the hat too. This I just got last week. This is like a corduroy material hat.
Ooh,
I got it
I
at
dig
Lids.
that.
I got it at Lids. It was like $40. That's the only thing, but it was for my birthday, so like I splurged a little bit on something, you know. So I was like, I'll spend $40
As you
on a
should.
hat, you know. Like I always get my hats from Meyer, so it's like when I actually went and got this, I was like, you know what? Let's get something dope. Like I needed a Browns hat, so it was pretty chill. I like it. It's really cool.
This I got from the Guardians team store, but the Browns hat that I have is from like Target.
Yeah.
So and I got it when I worked at Target. And I was like, I got like a 15% discount, and so like the hat went from like $20 to like $10 or something or whatever. So I was like, oh, it's a $10 hat. I'll take it.
Exactly.
So
yeah, man. We'll see how it goes, guys. You know, obviously we got the sponsorship, so go ahead, give them a good old shout out.
Yeah, just really, really quick, guys. Check out our sponsor, Effortless Wins, for sports betting advice and plays to boost your wins. Talk to Tony or Greg. Links will be in the description. Football is back and in full force. College, NFL, basketball. Hey, basketball starting up pretty soon too. We're only about a month away from basketball right now too. So
Yes, sir.
We got end of October for Cavs and whatnot. So we're getting ready for that to come up again. And who knows? I don't know if they do NHL action or not, but NHL is coming up in a couple of weeks. Preseason's coming up next week, or actually tomorrow for NHL. So the NHL season starts the first week of October. So if they do any NHL bets, hey, that season starts first week of October. And so, yeah, go check them out for any sports. They will help you out and help you win, make you some money, get your kids some of the best Christmas gifts you can.
Heck yeah.
Before the holiday season.
And by the way, before we get off, I'm just gonna say, Juckins, anytime touchdown is plus 220 on FanDuel. I would take that. I don't know. I would take that. I think he scores his first one this week. Right. Plus 220 for an anytime. I mean, that's not bad odds considering he's the most likely guy out of all of them to score, besides maybe
David Njoku.
Yeah, or Chief, or even Fannin. But even Fannin, like let's see. Tillman is plus 300, Njoku's plus 340, Sampson's plus 400, Fannin is plus 410, and then Ford is plus 500. Even the Cleveland defense is plus 1,000. So like that just shows you how little hope FanDuel thinks about us. I think we can at least score one, and if it's going to be anybody, it's going to be Juckins. So give me Juckins anytime touchdown for plus 220. Try it out. See if it'll pan out. I'm literally going to do that because I have a free $5 to play with, so I might as well do something with it. So yeah.
There you go.
All right.
Look, you know what? Let me see if I can't find something here. At least for the Browns.
Right.
You know what? It might just be something completely stupid, but give me let me check it out here. Give me the Browns. Actually, this is kind of funky. Give me the Browns plus 11.5 at minus 175. Or the Browns plus 11.5 plus 1 or minus 175, 180.
Okay. Yeah, that's not bad at all.
Not like I don't think we're gonna lose by 2 touchdowns. I think it's gonna be a lot closer than people think. Mm-hmm. I think, like you said, I think it's gonna be like the Bengals game, and I don't think it's gonna be a massive blowout. So give me plus 11.5 Cleveland Browns spread.
Heck yeah! All right, guys. Well, hey, you heard it here. You heard it here first, and hopefully we'll come back with a dub. And hey, keep an eye on this Guardians team, man. I'm telling you. We're going to have some rain this week, so we may have some delays. Hopefully not. But still, keep an eye on this team, brother. I'm telling you, they are hot, and they are ready to take the Central. So anyways, we will see y'all next week.